Right now we are in a top position in which we are middle table, top 6. And if we at least made it to semifinals, it will kind of mean that we improved over the split, right? If you improve, you at least will go with yourself. And right now we have been a top 6 team. We have been like that the whole split, and making it to semifinals will mean that we have improved at least a step, and maybe even getting to the finals or third place it will already be like, yeah, okay, we improved a lot. We improved late, but we did.
Man, all of these FLICKR videos are a bit of a tease, just like FLICKR's April Fool's joke, if you saw that, becoming an artist. But, you know, Power of Evil's back in. Welcome back if you're just joining us. This quarterfinal series is on match point for Origen. The teams are settling down on stage. I'm looking forward to seeing now Game 3.
Power of Evil is starting.
Yep.
So FLICKR will not be jumping in just yet, despite all the video clips. So let's see if Power of Evil can make it 3 for 3. They're on the red side this time.
Yeah, and Origen have been doing so well in this game, but we wanted to take a look at the top lane specifically, because that's where really unicorns have just been bleeding out.
They have been bleeding out. There you go. You see the stats on screen. As Chachi has not been having the best of series. I mean, he got a good farm advantage in the last game, but died so many times. 15 deaths in 2 games.
Just for context as well, across the 18 regular split games, Chachi gave up 51 deaths. In 2 quarterfinal games, he's died 15 times. It is a phenomenal number, and it just feels like he's not in the zone today. He's not where he needs to be, and Origen are finding him and punishing him. Both games in a row, he gave up first blood.
And honestly, it is a bigger problem than that, because it's not just Chachi. Is seemingly the core, the backbone of what has made Unicorns of Love so good has been Hylissang and Chachi in their performances. Yeah. Neither of those players has been playing exceptionally well in today's series. They've been outclassed. It's fair to say Steelback still is performing to what you'd expect, but with the rest of the team underperforming, it's so difficult for them to catch up.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, a lot of resources were used onto Hylissang, though, and it made it very difficult to get away from some of those deaths. But in the first game, I called that maybe it's just a bad game from Chachi. I mean, it happened, right? But 2 games, consistently, early game, gets called out, and starts that ripple effect. Like, there's something wrong.
And of course, this is the only game of the series where Origen will be on the red side. They opted into it as they had side choice on games 1, 3, and 5. Unicorns made one small pivot on their pick ban strategy in the last game. It was allowing the Jhin to go through. This time around, Azir still on the table. So let's take a look. Lulu, Orianna, Azir, all mid lane bans from Unicorns of Love. Ryze, Thresh, and there's 1 remaining for Origen to remove.
And what this does is put pressure now on Power of Evil. He can't blind pick something like his Ori, something like a Lulu. Does he go for the likes of Alessandra? Does he look for, you know, the Varus that he's played? He feels comfortable enough to blind pick that in the last game, so why wouldn't he feel comfortable to do it in this?
I think it almost forces him to go with an immobile mid laner, though, and then Unicorns of Love can punish that. Alessandra will be the final ban out from Origen. So yeah, I'm actually interested to see where Power of Evil goes from here, but they are on red side, so they do have that final pickup regardless, and they're going to see what Unicorns of Love are going to put forward first.
Now, I wonder, were they maybe thinking, okay, Civ is available, Alistair's available, Nidalee's available, a lot of big tier picks here, but you may have been able to just take the Lissandra here on first rotation. It's not the best of picks, but looking at blind pickable mids, I guess Corki is the other option.
Yeah,
that is up
that's a good
here.
call.
There is one catch for that. Fox, we know, likes to play those assassins. He has played a lot of LeBlanc, a lot of Zed in the past, so if PoE goes for something like that, there is some options for Fox to work around, but that is something we'll have to see later in the draft. For now, Alistair, Trundle, Poppy, it's all the tanks, all the front lines that are being locked in.
Yeah, Miffy had a really good performance on Trundle as well, and I really like picking Trundle and Poppy in the same rotation, so you can't pick the Trundle into the Poppy. And I think Stars will do fine on the Poppy once again. I think it's just a solid first rotation.
What it does do, however, is obviously lock down your top lane, lock down your support. So now we know it's Power of Evil getting the counter pick in mid lane, which explains why that they took away some of these blind pickable champions from Fox. Now they actually are relying on Power of Evil's counter pick mid lane, which is something that the Unicorns used to do very often when Power was on their lineup.
I mean, unless Gragas gets taken away right now, Origen could just build the exact same team comp. Jhin is available, Varus is available, Gragas still currently available. So, you know, don't fix what's not broken if Origen wanted to go that route. But of course, it does depend on what Unicorns of Love decide to prioritize. They've got 8 seconds left on their next rotation. And we're seeing similar moves, but this time instead of the Lee Sin, it is the Nidalee for the Unicorns of Love.
I like the Lucian though. It worked really well for Steelback. He had like 10 kills, 10, 2, and 4 at the end of that game. And honestly, if the team had maybe had a little bit more for him, he could have pretty much solo carried fights at the end. The problem was Fox, he was getting good engagements earlier on
How did we
in the
forget
series.
Sivir?
Sivir was available for a first pick if it was up. It's still available, and that kind of tells me that it wasn't really high priority for both of these teams.
Banned in both previous games.
It has been, but what I mean is the priority hasn't really been focused on that Sivir in this draft so far. The Alistair was the first pick, and then we had 2 full rotations of the Sivir.
Well, let's find out if Origen decide to prioritize it this time around. We already noticed during the course of this series that Maokai's not been as important as yesterday. And of course, the ever question of Azir or Lulu, who's more important, doesn't matter either, because they've both been banned in all 3 games. Neither team's going to have the option to drop themselves. So Sivir and Lee Sin locked in.
Yeah, I really like the Sivir here into this composition. You have a strong front line, you just get them further into the team. And Unicorns of Love, I mean, did they really want to pick the Sivir with like a Nidalee and they're building a different type of composition? So it almost kind of gifted it over to Origen, and the rest of the bans went towards the mid lane onto Power of Evil, so they really need to exploit Power of Evil to make their ban phase work.
This is the first game we're seeing of Sven on Sivir, though. Steelback had played 3 coming into this series, so now what's the adjustment that's been made? It's a style that Origen haven't really played too much. Sven, if he doesn't get super far ahead, can't really deal with too much of tank pressure without it getting super late game. So I do wonder now, how is this going to change what Origen want to do here?
I think it's also very interesting when you consider Sven. This is his 10th AD carry pick in spring. For contrast, Steelback has played 5 different champions, so a significant difference. Corki locked in for Fox in the mid lane. Chachi's going to get his hands on that gangplank again, but there's tools to run down this back line, tools to run past the barrels. The condition is you have to run through them, right? So there is some risks here trying to get to UOL's backline.
Now the question, what's Power of Evil been sitting on for these last 2 weeks? What's he got available? Does he opt for something that we've seen out of him time and time again, the Syndra, which I don't know whether I particularly like, into the Corki, but will blow it up very effectively. He doesn't really have his comfort blind picks, Orianna, Lulu band away, so now he's looking to a counter pick. Not too many champions that straight up counter pick the Corki in the lane. They also could do with a source of magic damage coming out here, so I guess the LeBlanc would be the snowballing pick here, but isn't the easiest of matches. Does tend to burst down the Corki fairly effectively. You can dodge out the Phosphorus Bomb, but certainly if you don't get ahead, it's a tough one. But with the amount of mobility, movement, and dive potential that you can see from Origen, they want to get that LeBlanc rolling.
Well, LeBlanc's only been picked once by Power of Evil, and if memory serves, he went like 0-8 in that game and just didn't do very well. So it's put him on something he's just not very comfortable on, and maybe this was actually a very smart pick and ban phase from Unicorns. We'll just have to see.
He actually had a pretty good game on it. LeBlanc was played 2 games as well by Xpeke. So it's a pick we've seen from him a couple of times now. Into this Corki matchup, it's one we see from time to time. So now, can Origen look to close the door on the Unicorns fast in this series? 3 games, this one could end very quickly if Origen start getting ahead again.
And especially because their team comp is somewhat more geared to that early and mid game. As the game continues to play out, I feel that the headroom for growth in terms of that gangplank, the Lucian, as well as the Corki, is going to become very, very difficult to overcome for what could be the last time here in Europe today. The coaches shake hands and will be exiting the stage. 80% of you guys at home were in favor of Origen picking up this series earlier today when we asked you. Jump on Twitter and see if you continue to feel that way. This is the first time that we'll see Origen on the red side, and of course, hashtag UOL win. I think they can turn it around now that they're on blue sides.
Yeah, maybe it's the blue side that is getting them the wins, but if that's the case, the next game is going to be 3-1. So, but yeah, different pick and ban phase from a Unicorns, and I kind of like trying to exploit Power of Evil.
I want to see if they can. I want to see if Power of Evil's going to be in trouble this game. He's got a bit more of a carry pants on with LeBlanc pick, but also more importantly, there is that picture of Origen from semi-final, from Madrid rather, where they were on the final stage. Stockholm. It was Stockholm summer last year. Regardless of that fact, let's jump into the rift because these are the flags. Unicorns of Love fighting for their life. They're down 0-2.
It's okay. We just need somebody to go up there, either Photoshop over, like paste on with this scrapbook style, Power of Evil's face over Peke, be like, we've changed you from history. Either that or, you know, that Snapchat really annoying face swap thing that everybody's like, oh, how funny is it that I can face swap? Well, that's what Origen want to do.
Not funny.
Series.
Well, crowds turned themselves around.
If that doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what will.
The Unicorn fans earlier have been trumped.
Turncoats.
Or that is another possibility.
Does that mean they built a wall down the middle and like separated the Unicorns and Origen's fans?
Everybody's very fair and fun here. This isn't a British football game. Regardless of that fact, this is the first time that Origen have not got themselves a aggressive or cheeky early game. In the very first matchup, they were able to pull off that lane swap and then punish Chachi. The second game, they invaded very early on, and again, punished Chachi. This time around, lane swap initiated by Origen, and Mithy's going to have the support of Sven, bullying Chachi.
Yeah, he's going to try and push them away here. Actually, gets the reset on the Merkle. Generally don't see it go that well for the support, but that's going to put Unicorns of Love behind by good 7-8 seconds.
I want to see what the ripple effect here, though, of Sven not being up in the top side. We know Sivir pushes very effectively into the tower, but Lucian was pushing bottom side first. This time, Steelback has that initial sort of momentum into the tower. Now for Origen, do they push this into tower quite as fast is the real key factor.
Well, we'll find out if they can. Luckily for Origen, they've got that Sivir, which is going to be exceptionally good for pushing into tower at level 2. Power of Evil takes advantage of the early trades, uses that Thunderlords and pushes Fox backwards. Once again, fervor of battles on the ADCs. Not seeing anything super surprising, and now the tower's under threat.
Yeah, we've started seeing a little bit more Grasp of the Undying around the place, seeing it on supports every now and again. Trundle's a fairly trade-heavy support, and keep in mind when he puts down the Frozen Domain as well, gets that extra health back on the regeneration, so Grasp tends to be fairly effective on him. It's why we see it from time to time. We've even seen it on like Nautilus support a couple of times.
Braum a couple times.
Yeah,
as well.
Braum a couple.
Generally people who build like some health to actually make it worthwhile, but it's actually nice and lane. We also saw Kasing run like Thunderlords on Thresh the other day, so like it's good just for extra pressure.
Talking about some of the other shenanigans, no mid lane teleport this time around. Nope. Flash Ignite for Power of Evil, Flash Exhaust for Fox. Important to note that that's the only exhaust. You've got an Ignite on Hylissang, so if Soaz or Amazing go off, that could be problematic. But taking a look at the towers, Chachi again just a few seconds behind. Nothing really major just yet, because it looks like the recall's already come in for the duos.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of the Sivir, being able to push top. We were questioning, was it fast enough? Yes, it was. And also to touch on that teleport mid lane point, so Fox will have the package available. LeBlanc roams fairly effectively on her own anyway, so it does mean that you won't see those instant reaction TP plays into a 2v2.
At the river.
Not again. Not again, Chachi.
Not in a good position. He does have flash, remember.
And Sven's not there.
Yeah, he just wants to farm the minions, so Miffy's going to get some extra damage down. He's going to utilize the grasp and go back off the tower.
You know what? That's our bad. We sold him out before we evaluated the threat, right? So,
well,
this
I mean,
time round,
we just expected history to repeat itself, right? Like, we've seen that situation multiple times, but props to Chachi, he gets out. I mean, he just walked away, but props.
still counts, right? It is a significant improvement from the two previous games. So, lane swap is now going to put the duos inverted. So, Unicorns of Love shoving up top, Origen shoving down bottom. No real surprises. A number of pink wards more in the Unicorns of Love inventory, so this will allow them to at least apply some deep vision and some defensive vision. And I want to just keep an eye on where they actually place those wards.
Yeah, pressure being exerted in the middle lane. Bottom tower is now also being pushed up, and of course Chachi's going to go into the top side as well. And we're just going to see another tower trade. So in the mid lane, we saw Power of Evil pushing up a lot against Fox. It looked like he was having the pressure advantage, but that hasn't culminated actually into a CS advantage at all. And I think now that it's resulting into tower, Fox is actually going to be ahead.
And I also think, Pulse, this lane swap is already a clear improvement for Unicorns of Love in game 1.
Oh,
now, I know that is like a silly thing to say, I guess, but
I mean,
we're not seeing out of position. We're seeing them matching tempo for tempo. Even a slightly early priority here on this Rift Herald. Origen most likely going to be late to the party, but the tower will fall and then the Herald after.
Origen are ahead of the curve, though. Look at this. Because of the way Unicorns split focus on the Rift Herald early, it means that Unicorns are late for the push, but will get the buff for themselves. It depends on how they utilize that.
Steal back. If he cancels this teleport or recall, could be in trouble. The barrel comes down from Chachi. Mithy's going to sidestep, follows on with the resonating strike. Amazing's looking for more. The javelin toss, as well as the Rift Herald, comes in for support from Unicorns. Get the tower, get the Herald, and they get out alive.
Yeah, they were a little greedy. Ooh, steal back. No, it's not going to be enough to kill him at this point, but we're a little bit greedy on that play to try and take both at the same time. Normally you'll see the turret go down, then the Rift Herald attempt. It buys you that little bit of extra time, and Origen had pushed out the bottom lane faster. Fox and Power of Evil, though, trading.
Power of Evil used the chain. Unfortunately, was on a minion, so Fox comes out better in the situation. He's also picked up a very early Hex Drinker, so that is a gigantic swing in the matchup. And Amazing may want to affect this even more. Pulse. Amazing's going to look for the chains. This time it connected.
The ward jump, Power of Evil this time connects the chains, but that's going to be the fast exhaust onto Amazing. A lot of return damage with the Thunderlords coming in, and Fox doesn't quite pick up the kill. Maybe gets a 25 gold from the clone. Not even that.
Yeah, at that point, Fox had the exhaust available, utilized it on Amazing in the middle lane as he dove under the turret. There was perhaps kill pressure on Power of Evil as he still had the ignite, so it gives him a lane advantage right now, especially with Fox now having that flash down, but Amazing took a lot of damage, didn't have to flash himself. Power used his.
Right, this time around, Power of Evil's going to wave clear as best he can, sidesteps the threat of a javelin toss, and is able to survive. So both teams very, very even on gold. 300 separates them. CS is basically even across the board, about one wave difference in mid and ADC. And just looking at summoner spells, it's only the mid lane that's really negatively affected. So lanes should start to normalize now. You can see Poppy finding Gangplank. And at some point, Sven will come to this middle lane to just play wave clear duty, as all sitters always do.
Power of Evil right now has picked up some extra mana regen here. It doesn't quite fit into his initial item. Ooh, Fox should be okay here. He does...
Oh,
no, he
hit
gets
flash, and that's just a perfect setup. First blood comes in. Ignite doesn't even have to be used. So well played by Amazing.
I was going to say, I thought Fox was okay, but just the way the kit flash came out, Amazing patiently played it. That's the key thing. Even though Amazing didn't went in aggressive under the tower early, didn't have to use his flash, still had it available and punishes Fox for not having his.
Yeah, the push is now coming in from Origen. They're not going to pick up the tower. They're just going to be pushed away by Lulux and Hillsang. I just really want to praise the mind games and the thought process from Amazing, because he mind gamed the hell out of Fox. Like, he walked towards him because he threatened the Q, and if he walks in a straight line, he gets Q'd. If he jukes backwards, which Fox was expecting, then Amazing just walks up and kick flashes. So just really nice setup from Amazing. Something that I didn't think was going to happen. Coming in from the front door, steal back. Are you Sven? Maybe. He jumps over the wall into 3 people, and the package is being delivered.
And Fox has arrived, turns his attention over to Sven, follows up with a second Valkyrie, and Sven rattles across the boomerang blade. Defensive flash from Miffy, sidesteps a javelin toss, and the chase isn't over yet. The Pillar of Ice might just end it. Light Slinger for the kill. Steelback's on the board.
Mid lane. Oh, Chachi.
Ooh!
Yeah, he's good. He's good. There's no Deathfire grabs this time on LeBlanc, so he's good to go.
Rip DFG.
Rip DFG.
Rip DFG at this point.
Deathfire touch. Did I say grasp?
You did.
The
throwback.
Man.
I did it last week.
It's fine.
What a solid item. It meant that mid lane also was viable, and it's a good time.
So Steelback saw Sven and was like, anything you can do last game, I can do better. At this point, there was not a lot of crowd control here. Fox, the package just nudges Mithy out of the way, and that was kind of enough to push Mithy up and out through the top side. So Unicorns were getting just a long extended trade here. A lot was used for it, but ultimately they would end up taking the advantage from this. So many flashes and so many ultimates we used.
And very good play from Steelback, knowing the limits of his damage, knowing the range, connecting with everything he needed to, and manages to at least pick up a kill. So Unicorns marginally ahead as far as gold is concerned. And if Unicorns can rally behind Steelback in a similar sort of performance, maybe that's how they can turn their fortunes around, especially when there's a free mid tower. No one here from Origen to defend. Although, the numbers are coming. Look on the minimap. 4 members of Origen are looking to close in, and Fox is a target.
Well, they're going to try and punish. The chains don't quite lock down Fox on this one, and Steelback will put a little bit of damage onto Soaz. Ultimately, the tower survives, but it's very low to death.
The thing is, this composition wants to be the aggressive comp out from Origen. They want to be the ones that start to fight with this LeBlanc, with this Poppy. The only real wave clear they have that is safe is on Sven. So for them to be in a situation where they're defending against a full-person tower push, they can only go aggressive to try and stop it. Oh, Sven.
Well, his wave clear is made easier.
I see you, Sven.
When he has blue buff. All right, challenge down bottom. 2v1. Chachi standing on a barrel, uses it onto Amazing, and this should be a fairly easy kill. It is, and Soaz picks it up.
Yeah, by the book. I mean, there's not much to say about that apart from Chachi being caught out.
Kicks him into the wall,
Yeah,
pushes him into the wall.
Bop.
Yeah.
Just trying to say bopped him on the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
Can you bop someone with your foot? I don't know. I think that's a little violent. It's like roundhouse kick, bop. Like, I don't think that works.
Still counts.
All
Power of Evil's going to do a little bit of poke
Take your word
onto
for it.
Fox. And remember, Sven was able to steal that blue buff away, so Fox's wave clear has been negatively impacted, especially because he has no mana. That's pretty useful on a Corki.
Hand confirmed.
I mean, the reason, so this is very kind of like nitpicky, but he hasn't got anything towards the mana crystal item, so he's kind of gone down in his ability to wave clear over a long period.
Oh, Power of Evil jumping back onto the distortion pad, and that's going to result in a kill over to Chachi. Yeah, sure, I'll take that from bot lane. I mean, I'm just farming away. I guess I'll take a kill in mid lane. That was weird.
Oops, I think is what sums that one up. Power of Evil with a little bit of a misplay. Maybe not quite as comfortable on this LeBlanc this game as we've seen in the past. Certainly hasn't had the best of starts to the game.
Yeah, I'm done. I said he had a bad game. He had a really good game. He got 8 kills, not 8 deaths. And yeah, he did really well in that one. Less good in this game, so maybe I haven't said anything at all and being like, he's had 2 bad performances.
Spreadsheets can be hard.
Yes.
Yes, it's when...
Thank you for the correction, though. Fair play to you.
Problem.
It's when you get the losses and kills column, like, man, they've lost 15 games on this. Oh, dear.
There hasn't even been 15 games, but
While
okay.
Chachi may be in some trouble. Amazing is going forward. Kick flashes. There's not a lot of support yet. Trying to buy time. Look at the mini-map. Here comes Fox. Amazing. Bought of some more time. Power of Evil wasn't able to get there in, quickly enough, and that means flash.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That was a weird one. Amazing.
It's just like, Power, why didn't you flash, bro, to get in range? But even then, he wouldn't be in range. I think there was just a miscall. I think he saw him in the bottom lane, was like, I just assume LeBlanc can catch up with double distortion, but wasn't quite there.
No, he wasn't. And Hylissang's going to zone away Amazing, despite the resonating strike connecting. Amazing, level 8. Down 1 to Lulex's Nidalee. But Lulex has only got a small farm advantage this time around. In the first game of the day, he was running the Nidalee and did significantly better. But Origen are starting to defend their tower. A little bit more threat here for Hylissang. Ethereal Change will connect and root Hylissang in place. Boomerang Blade finds a target as well. And slightly awkward exchange of spells over the last few minutes. A lot blown for nothing gained.
Steelback constantly going aggressive, though, time and time again, looking for those plays with the culling, darting forward as well. Hylissang could have been caught out there, but you could see as soon as Power was about to take a spear, had to pull back, jump back to the distortion, and that meant that Origen's kill pressure was actually gone.
Well, if Steelback keeps playing aggressive, Origen could find a way to punish it. Lulex, he's the one going aggressive. He's pounced on Mithy.
Yeah, he's going to be backing away. That was a good pillar. If Lulex decides to go in, he wasn't getting out again. So, yeah, nice placement by Mithy.
Good damage, though, overall, onto the support. Now top lane, there's a trade.
All right, Soaz is going to throw down the Keeper's Verdict, continues to chase down Vizichachi. Heroic Charge will be up in 2 seconds' time. Barrel gets popped, and Soaz is going to charge forward. Minion's going to be helping out. Flash for flash, and Soaz wins the 1v1.
Oh, mid lane. It looked like a fight. It was actually just farming. That's me jumping the gun. I saw the tower go down. I was like, oh, they're going to fight, but getting a little antsy. This is a calmer game than the last couple have been.
I felt quite antsy. Every time action jumps out, I'm getting hype, and then it slightly fizzles.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of champions in this game which can instantly just pop a fight, like the package comes in, or Power of Evil jumps in with double distortion. So fights can break out very easily. Lulex is now jumping onto this dragon, and I don't think anyone's going to stop him.
These are some of the more action-packed games than we've had in the last
It's been a fun series.
Oh, wow. What's this? Oh, this is a tower going down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Alistair's going, well, bam.
I like it.
Dramatic reenactment of what it looked like.
Is it a reenactment if it's just a replay? Like, don't you need other people to
I mean, it was a
perform the
dramatic
same?
replay,
Okay.
but I just wanted to try to say a fancier word.
All right.
Okay.
Down in the bottom lane,
Critical
Fox
failure.
picked up the package and is going to shove the wave out. Vizichachi once again in some trouble. Amazing. No flash available. Basically just eats a powder keg and is forced to walk away. And after that first kill, Amazing, he's trying to make picks happen, but he's not finding success just yet, Pulse.
I think you have to in a game like this. When you're running LeBlanc mid, and they were kind of forced to with the bans that came out from Unicorns of Love, that he couldn't play a control mage, so now we need to accelerate the early game, and it definitely puts the onus on Origen to try and do that, but Unicorns of Love are actually ahead. So it feels like when Origen are having to make the aggressive plays, take that crap, then Origen will fall behind because Unicorns of Love can kind of make those reactive plays, which I feel that maybe a little bit better at.
Yeah, and of course, Unicorns of Love showed that once they were in standard lanes, they actually performed better than in the lane swap. In terms of the sample size, went even this time round, but still bit off a little more than they could chew in that top lane. Close, a lot of damage on Sven. Origen found a way to pick up kills in mid, found a way to almost punish top lane. So it just feels like Origen are playing the lane swap basics and decisions around it better.
But how the game has gone from that feels very similar to how last game went. Unicorns, they have this lead for the early game and they're slowly extending it. But Origen, if they can get that good fight that they got in the last game, maybe pick off Hylissang. We've seen a couple of times where Hilly has been slightly out of position. The same with Chachi. One of those can kind of compound the game now into perhaps Origen taking at least a comeback. But it's kind of tough to call because Chachi, this game is actually on par with Farm and Soaz. The last game, Chachi was significantly further ahead, so maybe there's an option there for Origen if they can get this Poppy rolling.
Well, when is the point in the game where Unicorns of Love want to start turning on? Because right now, it just seems like farming is the name of the game. See if Origen make a play and then we can react to it and then generally just farm up. Like, calls are being picked up by both AD carries and it seems like you don't want a lot of interaction until you hit like later mid-game.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're looking for the Triforce and second item now. So Fox's Triforce and Steelback second item, to be specific on that. Hilly wants maybe to go aggressive. You can see him just posturing towards that middle lane, shows his head. Doesn't really feel like going in, so moves back around and out. But right now, Chachi's accepting a wave in the top lane. Wave's been pushed out in the bottom side, and that is being picked up by Fox as well. So there's no real reason to fight on the middle part of the map.
Only one dragon's been taken so far as well, picked up by Unicorns of Love. Origen yet to contest on that one. We've not seen dragon priority for Origen, which is actually somewhat of a change from the regular split, where Origen was still playing maybe an older school style. Just picking up dragons where appropriate. Power of Evil is going to start to recall here, and Hylissang is he thinking about this? Flash, pulverize, he's caught PoE, and the javelin to the
spear, but he had just the right amount of frames to jump out of there with distortion. He must be mashing that key so hard to get out of there.
I mean, that's the second kind of engage like that one from either team that is just being a lot used to try and kill one person.
Power of Evil did not like the threat and he's turned it around. Mithy's already used Subjugate, but Hilly, he stopped the front line. Sven and Mithy are taking a lot of damage from the cannon barrage, and Lulex has been punished for his invade. Chachi is teleported in, but there's a flash away. Sven's dropped.
Chachi turns it around. He's going to hit this barrel and try and get the speed up, but a nice pillar will keep him in place. Power of Evil, meanwhile, is a little bit stranded. Hylissang this time doesn't have the flash, so he can't get in range. That was ultimately a 1-for-1 for both teams.
And it was a two-pronged fight that we split because Amazing and Soaz were going aggressive.
Now it's a three-pronged fight. Hylissang has found Soaz and Amazing. Chachi wants to run them down and cut off the escape path. Power of Evil needs to run all the way from the middle lane, and Fox is getting the damage down onto Soaz and Amazing. That front line is being melted slowly. A dash away, barrels won't find anyone.
No, it was just a prank, bro. No team fight here. And they will be backing off. But Mithy may be caught out. Fox goes forward, but Rockets don't have CC, so he's not going to go down.
I'm pretty sure that's called a social experiment these days, Pulse. And, there was a bit of an experiment from Amazing and Soaz trying to go aggressive onto Steelback. We didn't see it on the main screen because it was happening during the fight at the blue buff. Watch on the mini-map for the second part of this fight because this was the initial part. Power of Evil and Mithy fighting with Lulex and Hylissang in the jungle. Watch mid lane while you're watching this fight as well. Hope you got split vision if you can. Oh, observers can zoom out. So look, they were focusing down on Steelback, and this is why Unicorns had so much freedom to take out Sven. Because, yeah, how far can we zoom? Science has gone too far. Amazing and Soaz didn't get anything from the middle lane there. Steelback.
Zoom in. How far can we zoom in?
Enhance.
Turn 70 degrees.
I want to see the reflection in Lucian's eye. Soaz and Amazing coming in.
And from that, we have determined it was a 1-for-1.
And at 20 minutes, that 1-for-1 puts Unicorns of Love around 2,000 gold up over Origen. Story that we've said before in the previous game. But this time around, Unicorns have got a dragon to their name, an additional tower to their name. The map play is a little bit more open, but Unicorns, they're pushing deep into Origen's jungle, and it's almost reckless. It's almost dangerous.
Almost, not quite. Not really sure where I was going with that one, guys. Origen off around the middle lane. We might have an engage from Mithy.
It's kind of cruel, but after the spring split of last year, almost reckless. Would that be like somebody else's biography on Steelback? Because he's certainly come back into his own now, and we've seen Fnatic get through from the first round of the quarterfinals. Now Origen you know, are looking to take this. They're 2 games up, but Steelback has been having such good performances. Game 1, Game 2. It hasn't been enough for the Unicorns, unfortunately.
Dragon picked up by Origen while Soaz was dueling with Chachi. And yeah, the Unicorns, as you mentioned in the pre-game stress, their key backbones starting to fall apart. A gigantic package is delivered, and Sven's going down.
Oh, he will be the first casualty of the fight, and I don't think he's going to be the last. Mithy will be dropping here for sure, and Fox will pick up that kill. That's going to be the Zhonya's coming out from Lulex to prevent any more damage from coming in. Soaz in the top lane didn't even want to TP into the fight.
Didn't want to get there, but the Unicorns seem to be going from strength to strength in this game. You know, Sven's been caught out a couple of times. We said coming into game 1, Sven's been caught out more recently than we've seen in previous times. This game seems to be more of that.
And the question was answered. What were Unicorns of Love looking for before they played aggressive? It was the Trinity Force pickup for Fox. It was an additional BF sword for Chachi. And you see them again, there's no hesitation. When an opportunity is presented, Unicorns are pushing for it. Yeah, the Gatling cannon.
Oh, that is one of my favorite and least favorite spectator issues. The Perma Gatling gun. But Mithy caught out, just kind of falls on this
one. You know what? Origen again, without their front line. Origen again, you know, Soaz is playing the split push game. He's not with the team. And it's just so easy for Power Vivo and Sven to get run over.
Yeah, it truly is. And right now, there's a fight around red buff. I don't really think Origen should commit to this straight away. I mean, they can take away the red buff if they want, but don't really choose to fight. They got Lulex.
Ah, they're pretty good in jungle fights, though. There's a lot of walls to slam them into, and Hylissang will get a good knockup, and Sven just gets deleted. Now Soaz will be backing away, and the chase continues. Chachi will land the barrel onto Soaz. He should be going down here. Power of Evil will go out of there, and Soaz, he's ticking down, but he's still alive. Power of Evil looking for a snipe onto the side, but there is a ward there, so they know where he is. Meanwhile, Lulex has been caught out, but he still has Zhonya's, remember. Now in the bot lane. Amazing. What are you doing, bro?
He played bowling, and there's another good hit. Soaz saves Amazing's life this time round. A chain should stop Chachi where he stands. Lulex pounces forward, but has no mana for a follow-up javelin. And these have just been messy team fights. It's a 1-for-0, but that took a long time to conclude.
Took a really long time, but Sven is about... Oh, he's gone.
Oh, he is out of there.
I think he got...
a huge deletion.
Yep, there we go, there we go. For Sean's, that one's for you. But it's like, oh look, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. Power of Evil decides to jump for it. No, that's the clone. That was just a clone, but Soaz comes in with the buckler. He's going to prevent any escapes for a moment or two. Before he continues to run down, decides to chase forward. The stun doesn't connect against the wall. Let's go back in. Why not? They trade kills 1-for-1. There's pressure from the back line. Chachi, he teleported for this one. He's teleported to donate a kill. We are in Bizarro world. Steelback gets exhausted, means he doesn't get the kill. Mithy's on 200 hit points, decides to re-engage. Steelback cut down. Lulex follows soon. He goes golden for a few more seconds, but kill will be secured by Sven, and Origen find 4.
Ultimately, Sven died to start it all off and comes back to finish the fight. I mean, this is just crazy amounts of fighting between Unicorns of Unicorns of Love and Origen. Man, yeah. I am losing it right now because there's so much action.
I dare say that was a little over-aggressive by Origen, by Unicorns of Love, by both teams. I don't know what just happened.
It just looked like Unicorns of Love were annihilated. The goal differential is at 3,000, and Hylissang, he's decided to engage. Wants to go the one-man band, has an unbreakable will to buy some time, but I don't think he's going to be able to steal a Baron. Will be secured here by Origen safely, and they'll turn, get themselves some steak for dinner.
Here comes Fox.
Okay, are you good? You think he's gonna go in? Why not? Belk forward. Drop the package. That's pretty much what's happening.
Does he have it?
No, I don't know. I'm just being hopeful.
I'm assuming he doesn't right now.
Yeah, he was in range if he had it. So
yeah.
I'm gonna assume no.
Whew, okay.
Okay, just start of this craziness.
Let's calm down and see it all again. So this actually wasn't the start. So Sven has respawned by now and actually runs top before all of this. So that's how long this fight was. Sven had time to go and try and collect some farm and then come down. Does he actually farm that way though? Yes, he does.
I mean, he's silver, so he'll kill it very quickly.
Yeah, he does, but that's how long this fight goes on for. So as goes aggressive. He's still top lane. Look. Sven ultimately gets a double kill from this fight and he's still top. So Power of Evil goes in and trades the 1-for-1. I didn't realize this fight went on for that long.
Oh, it really, really did.
Yeah, I'm glad we got 2 of you here.
I definitely can't wait to hear what the analyst desk have to say about this game, because I think the term they might want to use is Clown Fiesta. But it just feels so scrappy and messy and reactionary. And because Unicorn's overcommitted, it means they've lost Baron. Soaz is now caught. He's going to take everyone on a run, but he's still got a hammer and he's going to throw it out, but not too much avail.
No, he's dead, and now Lucas is over the wall. This is going to be the chase in by Origen, though. They lost Soaz, but they have the positioning to maybe pick up the kill and return. Fox is locked in there with 3 members from Origen. Sven almost goes down, but he'll be living to fight another day. That was a 1-for-1.
Mithy with another great Trundle pillar here, and honestly, we talked about his Alistair coming into game 1 of this series, and his Trundle in game 2. Mithy has been back on point. I think you look at some of Mithy's performances over the last couple of weeks, you could say that it was just not quite the same that we've expected from him, but Origen have gone from strength to strength, and Mithy is back with a vengeance in this series.
Yeah, and it's very, very important for Origen because all of the questions around how would they perform, what was their strategy, even though this is messy, it is still working out in Origen's favor. Regardless of who closes the series out, they will be playing against H2K next weekend. And you know for a fact that H2K are watching this with hawk eyes. Yankos has already commented a few times on Twitter, and we'll be looking forward to that matchup.
That's normally the death knell, though. I saw Yankos tweet, well, looks like we're facing Origen. Don't see what Unicorns can do to come back in this series. I'm like, that's optimistic. Yankos, I've seen that backfire once or twice before.
I think this game could definitely go either way, but it's Unicorns of Love having to win 3 games in a row. Origen for sure have looked better in this series. I agree, it's been messy. There has been relative control, but you go up against a team like H2K, I still feel like Origen or definitely Unicorns of Love will get dismantled.
This is very similar, though, to game 2, how, again, it all comes from a fight that Unicorns just don't really take in the smartest way, and it turns into a Baron. Baron turns into now a small lead for Origen, or now they're slightly behind because of the farm that was picked up in the last few minutes from, or the last couple of seconds from the Unicorns. But still, it's back to an even game right now, whereas Unicorns did have themselves a lead.
Yeah, quite a sizable one, actually. Around 4,000 gold at its peak. And Origen with Baron, and that Baron power play that was nearly 3,000 gold. I'm rounding up, Pulse. Works out in favor of Origen. They've regained complete control. They've got themselves inner turrets to take down in all 3 lanes. So that's what Origen are starting to look at and starting to set up. But they've been quite committed. It's kind of like they want Soaz to play that side lane and just TP and win needed.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance that Origen will look to make a play here. Parav was trying to do it onto Fox in the bottom lane. Wasn't quite in range for the distortion because the package had just gone off Fox. They got the global announcement. It's like, okay, let's play defensive or just get barreled. Power of Evil, amazing, trying to back away. Culling comes across as well. It's a bit of damage onto Mithy and Amazing as they back away. Power of Evil trying to put some poke down to try and soften up their targets before they go in.
And follow that with a fight over the Raptor.
Yep.
That's exactly what this game has become. 30 minutes in, 8 kills to 11, with all of Unicorns occupied in the middle lane. It allowed Soaz to shove all the way to the inner turrets, but he only gets a little bit of damage down before he backs away. Well, 50% of his tower, that's quite a lot, actually.
Power's pushing the bottom
Round.
lane out at the same time, and Fox comes through. Are we rounding that?
We can round potentially.
Just check.
Can't, but
Hey, I'm not the maths genius here.
no,
quite the
it's
opposite.
Colin Spellsy.
Yeah, I don't think we need to waste his time.
No.
Yeah. Well, regardless of that fact, Stress, you were talking about Soaz pushing in the top lane, and
Yes.
the fact Unicorns are being pulled in multiple directions.
But the thing is, Power came down to the bottom lane, and without teleport, it meant that you had 2 choices. Either Unicorns could look to fight elsewhere on the map and look to try and take the numbers advantage, or they send Fox down to the bottom lane and clear it out, which is what they actually did. Unicorns had, the chance maybe to go aggressive, but trying that at this point is, potentially losing the series. Unicorns are one big mistake away from losing this game and losing this series and being out of the playoffs.
Alternatively, they're one big play away for keeping their series hopes alive. Because if they just let themselves get pushed in over and over, we've actually heard multiple times throughout the split that teams feel if you're not playing aggressively, playing on the front foot, you are in fact losing the game. Wave clear is relatively good here with, actually I think it's pretty good with Gang playing Corki. But another Baron, and that makes the Cannon Barrage, that makes the barrels significantly less effective.
Problem is, Unicorns of Love, it's so difficult for them to make a proactive play with a poke composition, with Corki, with Nidalee, and if you don't have the package on Fox, then you don't really have a way into a fight apart from Hillerstein getting a flank. It's very difficult for him to come in from the front door, especially with Poppy, so they're really just waiting for Origen to contest an objective and then Unicorns of Love to contest them, or for Origen to dive into them and maybe they can kite away and make something happen. So it's difficult for Unicorns of Love, so we're just seeing a lot of farming right now from Unicorns until they see a slip up from Origen, because they are still in control of this game, despite the actually extra tower going over to the Unicorns.
Yeah, this is a tense situation, because if somebody steps too far out and Power of Evil gets those chains locked down, that would be a kill going down right before Baron is about to spawn. I mean, Unicorns, if that Baron goes over, as you guys said, it is going to be curtains for them, because they will suffer from that wave clear. Suddenly, Corki becomes far less effective at clearing out waves than he should be. But, you know, interestingly, down on the bottom side of the map, you can see Soaz and Chachi going head-to-head. Now, Soaz can never really push Chachi all the way in because of the barrels, but he's just keeping him pinned down there for a little while longer.
But advantage will be to Origen, because if they both want to TP, then Chachi will get interrupted by Soaz, whereas Chachi doesn't have a way to interrupt Soaz. So as long as Soaz stays in range of Chachi, they will have the TP advantage, theoretically. And Origen is pressuring all the lanes as well. Miffy, if he gets caught, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, and I also like that point, because Origen have already shown this series that they are willing to throw a valuable member forward if it means the play will work out. Case in point, Sven's Lucian with the Kindred Lamb's Respite as backup. Regardless, Origen are heavily committed to this 1-3-1. They've got some disengage with Lee Sin and with Trundle, so wave clear with Sven, and they're just waiting for UOL to fall apart. Look, tower secured just from playing the map so as he doesn't even care about the tower. Knows he can trade basically untouched because the rest of UOL were in vision.
Yeah, he did get fairly chunked, like a third of his HP, so he will go back to base. I'm not sure, is that a good decision? I mean, bot lane, now Chachi's also recalling, but it gives up the pressure. Now that Origen are also on Baron, I guess it gives them the home guard advantage.
Yeah, they're looking for the TP play from home guard. Oh, there's TP coming out from Chachi.
Unicorns of Love
only now
trying to stay alive. Power of Evil's over on the side, and Origen have peeled away. Amazing with the Jukes, dashes backwards. Mithy's in trouble and down low, but Hilly's up on the front line. Unicorns are way, way healthier as Amazing goes with a defensive kick back. That will send Lulex flying as the hammer comes down, but Origen, they get punished for trying the Baron.
Yeah, really weird TP coming out from Soaz. I mean, the area he had to TP in was the enemy jungle where the Unicorns were standing, but it was so late that it meant Chachi was already in the fight before anything had even begun. Uh-oh, now Unicorns have started the Baron. We actually saw this in the last game, and this backfired spectacularly for them. 5k health left. Unicorns stuck in the pit against Origen.
Origen have to do something here, and that's the spike going down, and Lulex will pick it up, but Unicorns, they're stuck in the pit, and now Soaz will be getting in here.
He's already got a kill, it's 2 for 2. Defensive flashes as Fox, Lulex and Chachi run away. The enhanced recalls means they will be able to get away. Mithy's in trouble, Lulex bounces out. 2 members of Unicorns are down. Mithy interrupts Chachi. This should be another kill for Sven. 3 members dead, and Origen have to deal with 2 members with Baron.
Yeah, 2 members with Baron do remain. One slightly problematic thing now for the Unicorns is that Fox picked up the package. Where does he use it is the question. He might have to reuse it to get away at this point, but Fox doing a good job of grabbing the package and home guarding out, utilizing it because he thought he could get to the fight in time, but had to second guess himself. So down went the Baron early on, and it looked to be disastrous for the Unicorns with how low they were, stacked against the Sivir, but Sven is auto-attacking the ward because he's got no targets, and is just like, well, I'm just going to deal with what I can. I can't make it over that wall. So just clears that out from here. Mithy didn't get the interrupt on the pillar, but it was enough from the damage. And of course Sven trying to keep himself healthy, get that life steal up the ward.
Yeah, that all started with Power of Evil landing a fantastic double distort onto 3 people, which trumped them, and then just allowed the rest of the Unicorns to, or the rest of Origen to clean up.
That was close.
That was quite close, because like the
50?
smite was used.
Yeah.
Regardless, Amazing picks up Dragon number 3. Power of Evil got the damage down before he was focused, but I think also so crucial, Soaz did not care. He was in the middle of 4 members of Unicorns and just saying, come at me, bro. And managed to work out in his favor. Baron buff will allow Unicorns to siege just a little while, and it's going to be up to Sven to get those ricochets down and try to clear out the wave.
Yeah, Unicorns, it's weird because they kind of have an advantage here because they still have a Baron on 2 people, so they will be pushing in, and you can see the degradation of gold from Unicorns of Love over time. Origen now swinging into their favor, but this game, It's very close. It's never swung outside of really 4,000 gold. Hillesign maybe going down here. That's a very late unbreakable will, but he'll be surviving for an extra couple seconds. He'll flash away, and that's a heal coming out, but now the unbreakable will wears off, and Amazing will take him out.
How much more can Origen take? Looking to chase. Teleport will be up for Soaz in just a little while. Cannon Barrage will dissuade any further chase. Origen back away, content with the kill, and content to delay this Baron buff that's still on UOL.
Man, Origen bunched through Tribush. If those barrels hadn't have been good from Chachi, that probably would have been Origen catching up there. Sven didn't have his ultimate available, but this was the top lane catch onto Hilly. He loses so much health right now. And then again, look at Mithy, pillaring off Fox's position to come through the jungle to assist. He's just blocking so many of these small pathways, and Origen are able to take better fights because of it. Think so. Oh.
Something happened here.
They deaded
traded,
each other.
They traded.
Yep, they deaded each other.
Okay.
We might get a replay of that, I'm not quite sure. Regardless of the fact, without Steelback on the front line or to deal the damage, maybe Origen had some advantage. Power of Evil, Amazing, he dashes forward under the tower. Tower's being focused as Soaz is running around in circles. Soaz is getting tanked. They've killed Lulex. Just double kill for Sven.
Ricochet
And then
comes
one
out,
more.
claims 2 kills. That's the triple kill coming out, and just like that, this may be the game here. Origen just flip the switch, go into the base, and crush everything in front of them.
They found themselves 4 members of the Unicorns of Love. Soaz is going to wind up the hammer, fires it out. It won't find Chachi, but Sven doesn't care. He's flashed forward, 2 critical hits back to back, and the rest of Origen, they're onto the Nexus turrets. The first one is falling, the second is done shortly, and Origen will be performing a clean sweep. They keep their hopes of another final alive.
When they kill the Nexus.
It's not the most excited we've seen Origen,
Yeah.
and it was
Somber.
a confident 3-0.
It was always the question coming in, which team took the 2 weeks better to prepare? It's Origen, unequivocally.
1, 2, 3.
Origen!
Also the first time we've seen Nico on stage with the team as well. You've got to think about how much that impacts them in terms of picks and bans, because there was impact there, of course. And yeah, we were thinking whether Unicorns of Love and their gambit in that game, targeting Power of Evil would pay off. Ultimately, it didn't. There just wasn't enough from them in this game, or this series.
No, I mean the Unicorns were really sloppy actually when you look at some of their play, but Origen were very crisp even in some of the fights that shouldn't have been happening. I mean, it's a tough loss to take because it's kind of a 50-50. It's not like you can just say, well, you know, in every single scenario they outplayed us. Some points were just Unicorns letting small errors become big errors, and that expands into a loss.
Very, very serious, somber looks there from Sheepy as he leads the Unicorns off stage. And, you know, I have to echo what you're saying, Stress, like that multiple times in games 2 and 3, Unicorns earned several thousand gold lead. Multiple times, Origen were punished. They fell behind. But being out of position and being caught out allowed Origen back in the game. And then I do think both teams demonstrated a willingness to go forward. Not always in the best way, but I do prefer the proactive, aggressive plays, even if they're messy, than, you know, sitting back just waiting to lose.
Exciting to watch. And it's exciting also to watch the bottom lane from Origen, Sven and Mithy, actually looking like we've seen them.
Yeah.
And it's not for the fact that you could say, oh, you know, Steelback and Hilly maybe didn't show up. No, Steelback performed well in these games as well, but it was exciting to see Sven and Mithy actually performing up to maybe what we've come to expect from them.
Yeah, the problem was there was a lot of moments in that game that were just like, but why though moments, you know?
Yeah.
Like they just go for fights because, oh, Raptors is up, let's go fight over it. Like it didn't really make a lot of sense. And now they're going up against H2K, who are a very smart team. I feel like they're just going to get taken apart.
Yeah, we'll have to find out when we get there. And also, what FLICKR factor was there? He wasn't needed today. Maybe he'll be needed for H2K. We're going to head to Pyrotechnics on stage to talk to the victorious Origen.
Excellent pronunciation, and thank you very much, Treb. I am, of course, joined by the mid laner and the jungler, of course, Power of Evil, and amazing, fantastic series, guys. 3-0, way to close it out. Power, you had a particularly dominant performance, but this team altogether did excellent, amazingly, and, sorry, the pun. I want to know, did you guys really expect it to be that quick and that clean?
Well, so from our scrims performance, I think in the last 1-2 weeks we performed way better, and I think I just felt we had better synergy, better calling. Like I knew what I need to do more than the weeks before, so for me it pretty much clicked way better.
I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, that has been something that we've been expecting to see from you guys, and we saw it finally start to come out towards the end of the split. And now 3 games, excellent performance, amazing. This team, you guys seem to have clicked together even better in playoffs. Is that something that is just a playoff thing, or now you guys have it all in your head?
I think we're better now than we were during the regular season because it actually matters now. So there's like this intensity factor that's coming in, especially from a team that has been towards the semifinals and everything like that. I think expecting them to perform to the other best during the regular season is kind of weird because it's not the same kind of intensity that you can bring during every regular season game that you can bring towards Worlds. So I think now that it actually matters, we care more and we're actually happy playing. So I suppose that's coming in. But this series in particular, I think that Unicorns were just outmatched to a certain extent, and I think they were the weakest team of the 6 teams that were actually qualified for playoffs. So I wouldn't put too much emphasis on this particular series.
All right, well, still fair enough, and you guys did play it out very cleanly. Power for you in particular, you got to play some signature champions. Your Oriana coming back, it always seems to work its way back in. Tell me a little bit about the choices that you guys have picked up those champions as a team and how you really have adapted that style into the way Origen's able to play.
Well, so I think a huge factor was watching FLICKR play scrims because I learned way more about communication, about way more map awareness, so I'm kind of more aware of where to stay, even lane swaps. You know, I'm learning a lot from just watching the games, and we pretty much changed the playstyle a little bit more to like control mages on me, and I can play a few assassins if needed. As example, today I think Ori, Azir, and Lulu was banned or something, so we thought about just taking the LeBlanc for sideline pressure, and it worked out as well.
I'm glad it worked out for you guys in total. So now you're going to be going on to Rotterdam. But before that, of course, the semifinals coming up. H2K, amazing. Do you have, I don't want to say a prediction, but do you have any idea how you think that one will shake out?
It's quite hard to say. I think H2K is really strong, and we scrimmed against them. We saw how strong they were. So we have kind of an estimate about what we got up against, but I don't want to name myself anywhere and just say we're going to 3-1 them, 3-0 them or something like that. I think it's going to be a good series, and that's all I can say.
Fair enough. So I'll direct the last one then to you, of course, Power. So basically same thing. Do you think that this magic that you guys have finally found to click together will be enough to put you over H2K?
I think we will see, but I think we can make it, yeah.
All right, well, expecting great things from you. And once again, GG, gentlemen, thanks for joining me here. You can go back and join your team. For now, though, we're going to send it back to the analyst desk to break that down and wrap up the day.
Thank you so much, Pyra. And we have Mithy here with us as well. First off, congratulations is in order.
Thank you. And sorry for my hair. I came to play today, not to the analyst desk, so kind of didn't really.
I think it looks fine.
Being honest. Being honest.
Thank you.
Well, you did come to play. I want to jump on something that Amazing said in the interview. He says not to emphasize this series too much because the UOL looked out of sorts, because we had the impression that you guys also at times were struggling still a bit. So I'd love to get your view on it.
Yeah, we just played really bad. So hopefully we look at these games as warm-up, fix our mistakes, and maybe put off a good game against H2K. I think H2K play way more clean, and it will also make us play clean, I think. I think it goes both ways.
Yeah. No, I really think like Unicorn, that well, they had the lead in 2 games, right? Like, yeah. If you throw 2 games where you have the lead, I think like you can be happy of your performance because you won in the end, but you want to win from the beginning to the end. And it means that the early game was a bit.
Also, the fact that we fall behind at the beginning makes the games go a bit animalistic, I would say, you know, because you wanna trade blow for blow, blow for blow, blow for blow, so you kind of like not let them get a lead, but instead like keep the lead equal, and eventually at some point maybe one of those blows comes harder on your side, and you kind of stabilize. So whenever you're falling behind, you want this kind of games.
Yeah, I agree. Like this is something that comes like if you have 2K gold disadvantage at 15 minutes and 2K gold at 35 minutes, and the 2K gap at 35 minutes is irrelevant. So I like this mindset.
I feel like, though, this is something we have heard before when teams play against Unicorns of Love.
Yeah.
Where often the games end up being Unicorns constantly looking for like TP fights instead of actually playing side lanes. They always want to TP into mid, fight you guys over and over. How difficult is it, I guess, in a sense, to adjust to it if you normally just want to play a more clean game and then suddenly you have to like constantly fight over and over, or was it easy enough?
You just have to use your brain, honestly. Like, you know they're gonna do it. It's what their comp revolves around. I think with GP it was a bit different because we didn't really get so much scrim practice against GP, so it was kind of like everything was a bit messy. But usually when they have double TP, like the first game, what you want to do is just know that they can TP, talk for wards. You know, everyone has to communicate about where the wards are and so on, and just play maybe with 3 scans and just really like be aware that they can double TP, know how long you can push and know what they can do before you do something yourself.
I also think, sorry,
go ahead.
I wanted to jump on this because I think the Unicorn plays a good 1-3-1. They even show it, they won against H2K thanks to that.
Debatable.
Yeah,
I think they're too aggressive in looking for fights instead of actually playing side lane without pressure.
Not in this series.
Sure.
And I would also say that it comes down with GP pick, because obviously in the game 3 you banned, you picked Trundle Poppy first rotation when they picked Alistar, so you obviously get the better matchup top lane, so Soaz gets like happy in the way. And in the second game, where like Soaz gets Poppy and you face GP, even if like GP is ahead, he will obviously punish Poppy, but this is not how the game is meant to work at 20 or 25 minutes. You usually look for a TP play with your advantage, sending him the ward, but what can GP do? We even saw at the moment, GP just TP'd on Sven with the Jhin, and he couldn't do anything. He tried to barrel, and then he couldn't do anything. So I think this champion, if they had like Maokai or any other champion tanks, would have helped a little bit more in this game 2 against Origen.
The main thing with GP is the fact that you can use your tanky top laner to like basically run away from him. Don't let him farm so much, maybe lane swap into him. So both top laners are kind of starved, and then just kind of use the whole TP pressure and whole tanky situation before he scales. But we kind of failed to get an advantage early game with that, so it became really hard, right? But if you have an advantage early game and they're playing GP at top, and there's a lane swap, for example, and both top laners are kind of starved, GP is pretty useless.
Obviously, you still have to play the semifinals, so I don't want to make you kind of talk too much about possible strategies, but why in this series specifically did you guys not elect to ever go for the double teleport yourselves?
I don't know. The series was 3-0, so it was like it was kind of hard for us to. We just pick stuff and it works. So why change it?
Why change it?
Classic pick and ban strategy.
I think 1-3-1 is the most face roll strategy there is.
Yes.
So everyone can play it. I think that's what everyone just played for the whole split. That's how we started to win games ourselves. So right now we're trying to play more around control mages, more around just like not having this double TP situation and playing around it, because normally you should win fights if you have the control mage or just a stronger mid lane champ that doesn't really TP behind you and you control the TP flanks, you will win the fights. But it's really hard to pull off, and it's obviously much harder than face rolling. But that's kind of what we were practicing and didn't really show so well that we're playing really clean. But yeah.
But according to you, now that you guys are playing this style, and we noticed it during the games, Unicorns obviously always sitting on side lanes, you guys trying to find groups basically, but it's very difficult because if you group at a wrong time, they push down 2 side lanes and you guys can't do anything. What is it exactly then you're looking for? Like, what is that makes it so difficult, and how do you maybe solve the situation? Like, how do you actually get that team fight?
You don't really team fight. I mean, since you're they're on side lanes, right?
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that we can't be on side lanes ourselves. What all it means is that whenever they push, whenever we push in we push in a side lane, we can go mid, and whenever they push in a side lane, we have to take care mid. So we just have to not always play brainless, but actually play careful at certain times. And as long as you do that, it should be fine. Like LeBlanc has a summoner advantage over Corki. So it's overall not too bad, and LeBlanc can go mid. And when you're playing stuff like Orianna or Azir, you have maybe your AD, maybe the Orianna, maybe the Azir on the side lane. And as soon as you push in the side lane, you walk on mid again. And then you have like this moment where you're grouped up. It's as simple as that. And you don't really need to force fights. Like, fights come to you if you have the control over a certain objective, like Nash, for example. I
just think like in the 1-3-1 by Saimiti is really true, unless I think Lissandra is the only counter of that in a certain way.
Lissandra
because she wants to push she wants to push the way, the wave, and then after she actually wants to TP. She's not like Zed or like maybe LeBlanc in a certain way where she goes on the side and wants to kill. Because if then after you go for a 3-1-1 with like, for example, let's say you play Varus in the mid lane, he will clear the wave against everyone, or Azir will clear the wave. Meanwhile, Lucian or like any support and jungle will play around this Zed or LeBlanc, and then will deny. They cannot kill, LeBlanc cannot kill those guys. So then after you will push, and it will be fine to play this against 1-3-1. But Lissandra is the only champion where even if you get pushed, then it's fine, just push me. But then after, if you do one mistake, I'll TP and I kill all of you.
Yeah,
so I like the third ban.
When you play against Lissandra, you need to be very careful. Like, you need to be very vocal about where the TP wards are and what side you want to kite the fight to, because the TP got nerfed. It's 3-second teleport timer, and as long as you see where the TP is coming from, it's not too bad. But even then, it's like, it's so much easier for them to get the right fight than for us to outplay the fight. But if you outplay the fight, it's over. So it kind of... It's like I said, it's really hard to pull off, but if you pull it off, come out ahead.
Well, before we came into this week, we talked a lot about Azir obviously possibly being that must pick, must ban. And yesterday we had the developments that you said also just quite hard to execute at points. Is Lissandra now absolute #1 in your regards? Is it Poppy? I mean, of course, there's still people playing here next week, so maybe you should get
I mean, I think if we look at just on stage, it's something, Sean, you've talked so much about how hard it is to execute certain comps on stage compared to scrims. Lissandra is a more easy and safe strategy on stage. We're playing the 1-3-1 and then have TP flanks, basically as your main way of playing the game. I think she's a fantastic pick right now. I think actually the ban you guys had in the last game was very smart against it, because you guys were going to play the LeBlanc anyway after you saw the 3 mid lane bans. I'm not sure that was called early, but you guys wanted to play the 1-3-1 anyhow.
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk figure bans, that's fine.
Nice try, by the
way. Still, with the Lissandra, she's just fantastic safe right now. And honestly, I think she's one of the strongest picks. Azir, of course, on paper, is insane, but he is hard to execute, as you guys talked about.
I think every champ is... honestly, Lissandra is not easy to execute. You need to have the balls, to get the TP, get the home guard, also get the ward. So
safer strategy.
Yeah, safer strategy, I agree. I think overall, both of these champions are probably the 2 strongest. But yeah, in general, I think there's not like an super OP champ. Like, I think both champs can be played around, but it's hard.
Why do we see this? But
just want to show some kills.
Yeah, there's
team losing.
Like, wow, Lissandra. Okay, Lissandra. Wow. Fabian was actually a god in this fight. Like, he played really, really well.
Why didn't you guys play Lissandra?
All right, so the idea is like Azir and Corki should win against Lissandra in lane. So in scrims, this matters a lot. In practice, this matters a lot, right? Like, in theory, when you win mid lane, then in the mid game it's easier. In stage, maybe, like, it's way harder to take like really big decisions. Say, okay, guys, just push. Like, Lissandra is on the side. Even if Azir wins a little bit or Corki against Lissandra, once the game starts, it's way more easier to play 1-3-1 while you have a control mage, because Lissandra will move, and then you will see Lissandra will say, oh, you have 30 seconds to do so. And then you see again Lissandra pushing, and they're like, we have to put someone over there, and you lose the pressure down. So it's just easier.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you. And I think that overall everyone plays a bit safer on stage, so it makes snowballing early game a bit harder.
Yeah. Talking about playing on stage, playoff buff, all that. We have to crown an MVP, and with the semi-final spot rather on the line. Soaz went big to help Origen secure a trip to Rotterdam. 61% kill participation, 4.6 KDA. All of that actually doesn't matter that much, because obviously Sven seems like the obvious choice here, maybe Power stepping up. But Soaz is someone that we've criticized so harshly in the spring split, and he definitely delivered.
I think also for a lot of people, there were like 2 specific matchups you were looking at. 80 carry matchup with Steelbike against Sven. This one, very even, honestly, in the games. Both Steelbike and Sven had great games. But then also Chachi versus Soaz up in the top lane. And obviously, he got Poppy twice, which is great for him, but he honestly had a great series. Like, in team fights, he was doing extremely well. He made like 1 mistake in the first game where he stepped out too far, but I feel like that's more on the team actually having him in the wrong lane where he's pushing out instead of receiving a wave, and he gets ganked and dies. Outside of that, he played, honestly, a very clean game for a top lane.
Let's ask Smithy.
Yeah, definitely. I think he played pretty good. So
pretty good.
Give him props for that, yeah.
Really good, you mean?
Yeah, he played good.
Okay. I just think also that we have a special mention for Steelbike for me, because obviously, well, it's not because there are 2 French players, no? But just because Like he played really well, and I think like out of this, he was pulling out like always like getting the limit out of not getting caught. Like always like try to get something, and we never see him doing those 3 games saying, "Oh, still back, why are you doing that?" Always having way more farm than Sven, especially in 1 or 2 games, and just like not throwing. So he was just playing well.
Yeah, I agree. He was pretty annoying when he was like in the series in terms of like how he played like to the limit a bit with Lucian dashing in and so on. So that was kind of annoying, but it's what he's supposed to do. So he just played well overall. It's hard to praise him for just like you know he didn't do anything crazy either. So he just played well overall, and he was not too passive or anything like that. So overall, I think he played well.
Yeah. So we had the awards, obviously putting Silberg as the #1 AD carry from a lot of the voters. I actually want to hear, because I personally think Forgiven was my #1, then Sven actually came in as the second one, just on my personal list. I want to hear from you guys. Who do you actually think, if there is, obviously we are in a meta or in a part of this game where it's not about one individual player anymore, it's about the team. But do you guys think Silberg has performed well enough to be considered the best AD carry in Europe?
I mean, I think there's a top 2, and then there's like AD carries. I think there's like, you can't compare Sven or Forgiven to anyone else, in my opinion.
I agree on that one.
I would answer Yarnan.
I disagree from looking at last.
Because
I wouldn't put Yarnan in my top 3 right now.
Because I would get flamed, but theoretically, then I think like Forgiven and Sven were a little bit like showing up because of the way they're playing, and I think they're really good. I just want to protect my player, because even if we lose, I still love them.
Definitely, obviously. Support-wise, though, this is actually something that we noticed throughout the series. Hylissang, we looked at Vizicachi and Hylissang as kind of pillars of the UOL. We feel that he underperformed this series. How did you directly notice it in game as well, without, of course, flaming him? But sometimes it seemed that he wasn't that initiator at the right times like he usually is for UOL.
No, he was not, like, I mean, he played fine, he played good, but I don't think he played too good or was like very annoying or anything crazy. I think that the only support right now that is good is Vander, and everyone else is like, they're good, you know, they do some stuff, but they're like not consistently there, being annoying and controlling vision, setting up everything for their team and so on. And I think that, I mean, I couldn't showcase so much because I was playing Trundle, so
nice champ.
We will see. I think it's a really strong pick. So when I go on a playmaking champ, I think I play pretty good and I do all that I talked about. I think that if I was on Hylissang's position, I would have done more. So I overall think that Hylissang played very well, but I just feel like in terms of like who's top tier support, I think Vander gets the praise here.
Also, yeah, there is something, when we talk about support, we always have to mention jungle, because there's a jungle support synergy that goes on. When you say your plan, you want to go between this lane and these lanes. And I think, yeah, Amazing and you, apart from one game, I think game 1 where Kindred, Amazing was playing a Kindred that got caught because two like overextending into the division. But I think you guys played pretty well in terms of communication. Obviously, I don't know what was the reason, but I think you guys are on point to setting up some wards. Even if you are behind, it's really important that you guys keep on the communication to the division rather than Lulex and Hylissang showing up less and less.
I think that overall, me and Maurice don't really tag together so much. It's like, I don't know if it's bad or it's good.
That's how I felt. I mean, when you were
say
working,
it to the camera, it's fine.
I hate you.
Oh, you're actually making him do this.
No, but overall, I feel like we tag way less than last year. But it's also because of how the situation. Like, it's not like we're like tagging on purpose. It's like, come here, let's go together. But it just kind of happens naturally right now. So sometimes I don't even notice if I'm tagging with him or not. So
it's true love.
I think if there's like stats or anything that says how long we're together, but I think we play a lot more apart, but together at the times where we feel we should be together. So I'm not really sure.
You guys are really high on the gravity of jungle support together, I remember.
H2K is highest though. Evander and Jankos together.
Yeah, they tag a lot, but I think they tag too much. Judging from scrims, I think that maybe they tag a bit too much.
But what is the difference between the jungle support synergy now compared to, let's say, last year where you guys made it to Worlds? And that was one of the big highlights, obviously, you and Amazing together.
So it sounds it's gonna sound bad, right? But the truth is that no one tagged together, so we tagged, and it was like, whoa, these guys are so good, you know. But now everyone is tagging together, so there's nothing impressive about it. But what happened last year was that me and Amazing were together because we analyzed like some other games from other teams, other regions, and we saw, hey, every team is like tagging together here, and it creates a lot of pressure. It's really good. And then we started doing it, and no other team was doing it, and it just kind of sucked for them, you know.
That's how it goes. When you're ahead of the curve without even noticing it, then you just do it. Like it reminds me a bit when you pick like for example,
Nasus.
Like Nasus. All right, then we can go. Now I was thinking about like all these champions, like for example Queen, like Victor was pick, Corki was maybe Corki, but all the static mage, and we abused a bit about Mortius and mobility from Queen. We just won 3 games, right? So it's a bit like that. I really like when you notice something and you're ahead of the curve, then you just pull it off. Then people will adapt to you, and you still get ahead of the curve, and this is why you're a good team.
We'll see who is ahead of the curve when we go into the semi-finals. The quarterfinals are behind us, so let's take a look at the bracket as it is filled in. Fnatic will be going up against G2, and OG will face H2K in those semi-finals. That means that all 4 of those teams will be going to Rotterdam to play either the final match or the 3rd place match as well. Let's talk G2 versus Fnatic first.
No, if this is Fnatic Origen final, I call scripted again.
But Chance, after playing Fnatic yesterday, obviously, how much of a chance do you give them?
I think they have a decent shot. Not saying they're favorite, obviously, because they won against us and we play pretty bad. So G2 will be a different story. But I don't know. I think there is something in Fnatic's like playoff bonus maybe. But that shows that they can still be a top contender and they can actually show up. However, I think G2 is a bit underestimated because they are still, in theory, a new team, challenger team. Well, they outperformed, but they did this, but in the end, they're really good. So, and G2, what they had in strength compared to the other team at the beginning is that they were ahead of the meta. They had this really good picks, really good strategy. Then now, I'm really looking forward to see what they're capable to pull off, but I would give my win maybe to G2 in this game.
I think G2 matches up better against Fnatic than what Vitality did in the current meta, because Vitality was a lot about Capo Shot, being a big carry, winning his lane. In a tank meta, it kind of gets nullified quite a lot unless you get maybe a Trundle pick into a big tank, which we don't see because it was banned away by Fnatic every time. With G2, Kikis is not the man who's winning the games. You put him on a tank like you put Gamsa on a tank. They'll just go even against each other. And then mid lane, Febiven actually outplayed Nukedog and was a big carry in this. Perks will match up much better against them. And I think the 2v2 on bottom side is won by Hybrid and Emperor. So I actually feel like G2 will match up a lot better against Fnatic and probably also play the same style. Carry junglers for both Trick and Spirit. Mid laners going very even, probably even sharing champion pool. And then there's a winning bot lane, I feel, 2v2. If it is a 2v2 for G2.
I don't think so. Unless Hybrid and Emperor play much better on stage than they do online. I think the bot lane matchup is pretty equal, and I think it's going to be.
Scrims?
No, I haven't scrimmed G2, but just from past games and so on, I feel like overall it's just going to be a tank matchup bot. I think that both teams are going to play tanks or Thresh. Most likely, it's probably going to be like contested between them. I've seen Clay play a lot of Thresh. G2. I'm here. I'm not leaking anything. I haven't scrimmed against G2. And I'm just judging from the Fnatic games before anyone flames me. So judging from what I see, I think either there's going to be a Thresh contested pick or there's going to be tank against tank and the matchup is going to be equal.
You guys ban Thresh?
We ban Thresh, yeah.
But I don't know about
Jack of all trades, master of none is what you said on the desk 2 weeks ago.
But it's also about comfort picks.
Yeah,
and also like something we didn't pull out, obviously I don't want you, Mitty, to explain why, but we saw always ban Ryze. Because obviously Vichy Jachi played a lot of Ryze in the previous weeks. We saw it in Korea, and I think the champion appeared at the end of the 2-week scrims and practice from the ULCS. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about why this Ryze ban?
I don't really want to
talk about it. I think we should change the topic here.
You don't want to share anything.
But you had a lot of truth in what you said.
Oh my god, I was so close.
It is very strong.
Staying on the same matchup though, we're talking about top lane, we're talking about jungle. We're forgetting about Perks versus Febiven, because if we look at the quarterfinals, how they played out now, even over in NA yesterday, Bjergsen with TSM putting so much pressure on the map. Febiven doing a lot to help Fnatic get to that spot. How important will that matchup be? Because I feel like the meta is also shifting towards a place where they can have so much influence and maybe be an important carry, even though it is very team-oriented right now.
I think that the Fnatic versus G2 matchup, this mid lane matchup is probably going to be the matchup of the year. I think, sure, we're going to have our game, sure, there's going to be finals, but I really believe that this matchup is going to be the most hyped one ever, because I feel like both players share the exact same champion pools. Both play Zed, both play Lissandra, both play Azir, both play Ahri, both play Corey, both play everything. And they're both really good 1v1. And I think that it's not going to be 1v1 game. I don't think there's going to be solo kills. But what I think is going to be is like one team picks Lissandra, one team picks Azir or something like that. And then there's going to be who plays what strategy better and who makes the most out of their champion in that strategy. So I think the game is going to be a lot clean, very clean, and just overall, I think it's gonna be very, very close.
Yeah, one team gonna get the edge of the other, and it will be done. Like every time, I think that there will not be that much of a throw. And also, we didn't talk that much, but we have like Spirit versus Trick. Trick got the MVP. Like now he's playing farming jungler. He's playing like all those Kindred, Graves, all the champion.
Korean jungler.
Spirit best champion is Graves, is Kindred. So once again, like they're sharing the same identities, which will show like a great match. Obviously,
I think Trick is better though. I really just think that Trick has more faces towards his playstyle. I think that Spirit usually, or from what I have seen, plays Kindred, plays Graves, likes to farm a lot, likes to be a carry jungler, and then just like play towards that. But I think that Trick can do what Spirit does and change his style into a more Gragas, Lee Sin style, where he is the one playmaking, the tanky guy. I think Trick could show us more faces.
I mean, Spirit can do that too. We saw it. IM. He's still very comfortable on those picks.
On the Lee Sin, yes. I think his Gragas was very bad when he's played it in the past, at least. He did really well when he got to play Kindred Graves for him. But I just wonder, with these two teams now facing each other in the semi-final, like we have H2K as the only other team really we haven't seen now and even talked about. You guys have obviously scrimmed a lot against him. You played against him in the LCS. Do you think H2K are a step above Fnatic and G2 right now?
I can't judge for G2 because I haven't really played against them, but from what I have heard and from what I have experienced against H2K, I think they're the stronger team.
Yeah, and we also, as Vitality, we didn't practice against H2K neither, so I'm assumption. But I think they're like the strongest team, and they're actually like showing up, not only online, but also offline, and the offline matters. And yeah, that's what we expect from them. Like, I hope they are not choking, or they're not like just going like 0-3 for unknown reason, and just Origen gets the lead.
I mean, he probably hopes for it, yeah.
But I hope that they get, yeah, obviously, but I hope they get a good show, that they had a good season, and they are showing up too, so that it goes to great BO5 match. So this game, maybe I won't give the edge to H2K because like they have like this control and this vision, and then after like Forgiven seems to always find to sneak something, get a turret there, and then they get the lead somehow. And yeah, I just like their attitude during the games, but I still think Origen can put a good fight.
Thanks.
But what is it, you know, H2K is doing so extremely well compared to some of the other teams? Like, if just from a player point of view, Mithy.
From my point of view?
Yeah.
So their TP flanks are much smoother. I think that the wards and the wards they get, how they TP, how consistent they are at doing it is mirroring Fnatic's level of TP on their 1-3-1 strategy, and overall their consistency at clearing vision, playing for one side, not overextending, and just like snowballing the game whenever they have a lead is basically what makes them a good team. But in general, the game right now becomes about getting a lead, either lane swap, either 1v1, 2v2, and then just like getting the first 3 auto towers, and then just getting this Nash bait with a good TP play. That's how 1-3-1 is played. Nash bait into a good TP play, and then as soon as you get Nash, or as soon as you win one fight and you get Nash, the game is over. So basically what H2K is good at is this whole consistency around playing double TP, or just like a flanking champion in mid.
All right, I do hear that our colleagues over in NA are almost set up. I do want to touch on a quick prediction then. Who's winning the playoffs, the Fish Show, after what you've seen so far?
Origen. H2K wins playoffs. I think they're going to beat Origen, probably in 3-1, and then win the final as well.
All right.
I would say H2K too, but I'm looking forward for this obvious Fnatic Origen that's going to come.
Yeah. And who wins then?
Fnatic. Fnatic always win. I mean, this is scripted, right?
No, it's scripted. It's scripted.
Whatever happens, Fnatic always win in the end.
All right, a lot of praise here for H2K, even though we don't know actually nothing about how, besides having Jankos on the desk, we haven't seen them, but we trust him probably, apparently.
Not Jankos.
For that spot for MSI as well, and talking about the fight for that, another international update over in the CIS's LoL Continental League. Hard Random have taken the Spring Championship in 4 games. You know, Smurf and Kira from All-Stars, and they'll be joining INTZ, Supermassive, and Latin America South Isurus Gaming at the IWCI, which is the qualifier for MSI as well. And there's still 4 regions yet to crown a champion. Origen could also be going to MSI.
Yeah.
How big are those chances?
I don't know. They're pretty okay.
I don't think they're too
low. I don't think they're too low.
Different kind of player on the desk here. Before he was like, you know, if we make it playoff, we're pretty happy. It's not working out. Now it's like maybe MSI.
I mean, it really wasn't working out at all, and I don't know if it's working out now or not, but I think everyone kind of stepped up and gave more energy for playoffs, so I'm pretty happy about that. Just in general, it's a bit disappointing that we stepped out for playoffs and not like at least a bit more in the split, you know. But yeah,
You have another split to do that.
we will see.
The guys over in NA are almost ready. I quickly do want to touch on some tweets that we got in because we did invite you to ask the desk. At Boss ICI tweeted at Sean's, do you think Azir is a worthy first pick? Wow.
Nice flame.
That's
because we actually did it 2 times in a row and we lost 2 games. Just saying that if you play correctly Azir in the 3-1-1 and then you manage to push the enemy, if you are really good at Azir comp, then you can win a game. But I think once again, and on stage, 1-3-1 is easier if you manage to pull it off.
All right. Another tweet is from @BrotherBlock. First Dragon or first Rift? Herald, what do you think takes priority in the meta? You mentioned actually, Sean, that you think Herald has in Europe at least,
100%.
has huge priority.
I think Riot should buff Dragon a little bit because we maybe
You're very unique in that
have
opinion.
something. We maybe have something to like create something else, because otherwise when there is Herald and Dragon, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but I think Dragon is irrelevant.
Yeah.
I think there was throughout our whole comms in this game, I think there was like for the first 10 minutes at some point someone was like Dragon, and everyone was like, nah, Dragon is useless.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically it. Take the Rift Cell and use it to snowball onto towers and push side lanes.
Thank you very much, and that must answer your question, sir, as well. Now, 2016 Spring Playoffs continue next week with our first semi-final clash between H2K and Origen. You actually don't get that much time.
Boring.
Our coverage begins at 5 p.m. Central European Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, and will be followed by the first North American semi-final between CLG and the winner of today's quarterfinal. So that will be Team Liquid or Energy. What do you guys think it's going to be? We're going over in just a sec.
Liquid.
Liquid for you?
Who is Energy? NRG?
NRG.
NRG. GBM.
GBM, Impact.
Nah, they're gonna lose. They're just there for holidays.
I mean, in CSGO, Liquid got 2 times, came back after 15 rounds, so again, Energy will win.
All right, we'll see what happens. Thank you so much, Shans, for being on the desk, Mithy for
Pleasure.
joining us, and we will see you all next week as we continue the road to Rotterdam. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Let's find out who gets the advantage in game 1 of this best of 5. Just decided to stick around for too long. This could be first blood. Origen pick it up.
Now Hillsang under attack. Mithy comes in. There's the combo. There's the kill. The quick double coming in for Sven. Now on to steal back.
I'm walking around. Slowly. Careful Nilly Spears. Careful Nilly. Okay, no, he's not there. Good job.
The punish is unbelievable. The flash, the E, the Q, the triple over to Power of Evil.
And Origen dominantly pick up game 1 in this best of 5. Amazing. Does not find the body slam onto Fox. And the piercing arrow. Fire. Not gonna get him! Fox survives!
Agnes. Go for listen. Lissandra. Lucian. Nice.
I snare. No, I don't snare.
Keep going.
OG with that final move will be calling checkmate.
I think he got
a huge deletion.
Yeah, there we go. For Sean's, that one's for you.
Okay, yeah, he does. Hit flash, and that's just a perfect setup. First blood comes in.
Kill. Mithy's on 200 hit points, decides to re-engage. Steal back, cut down. Lulex follows soon. He goes golden for a few more seconds, but kill will be secured by Sven. Till Soaz is getting tanked. They've killed Lulex. Just double kill for Sven.
Ricochet
and then
comes
one
out,
more.
claims 2 kills. That's the triple kill coming out.
And Origen will be performing a clean sweep